Right now, as you watch this video, a silent war is being waged over 17 obscure elements that most people have never heard of. But without them, your smartphone would be a paperweight, and America's military would be defenseless. These are rare earth elements, and they're quietly controlling the future of global power. From the phone in your pocket to the stealth fighters protecting our skies, rare earths are the invisible foundation of modern civilization. But here's the terrifying part. One country controls almost everything. Today, we're diving deep into the most critical resource war of the 21st century, and why the battle for these elements could reshape the entire world order. Picture this. It's 1787, and the Swedish officer Carl Axel Hurranius discovers a strange black rock near the village of Ytterby. Little did he know that this peculiar mineral would eventually become the key to unlocking technologies that seemed like pure science fiction. This rock contained what we now call rare earth elements. But here's the first twist in our story. Rare earths aren't actually rare. The name is completely misleading. Cerium, the most abundant rare earth, is more common in Earth's crust than copper. Even the scarcest rare earth, thulium, is still 200 times more abundant than gold. So why are they called rare? Because they're incredibly difficult to extract and purify. Imagine trying to separate 17 different elements that behave almost identically. It's like trying to sort identical twins in a room full of mirrors while blindfolded. This chemical similarity makes processing rare earths one of the most complex and expensive operations. And that's exactly where China saw an opportunity that would change everything. In the 1980s and 90s, while Western countries were focused on environmental regulations and cost-cutting, China made a strategic decision that would echo through decades. Deng Xiaoping famously declared, "The Middle East has oil, China has rare earths." This wasn't just a boastful statement. It was a declaration of economic warfare. China began flooding the global market with artificially cheap rare earths, selling them below cost and driving competitors out of business. American companies like Molycorp and Australian miners couldn't compete with China's rock-bottom prices. One by one, Western rare earth operations shut down. By 2010, China controlled a staggering 95% of global rare earth production. But the real genius of China's strategy wasn't just about mining. While other countries were digging rocks out of the ground, China was building the entire supply chain. They didn't just extract earths. They refined them, processed them, and manufactured them into the high-tech components that power our modern world. Now, let me reveal why this matters more than you ever imagined. Every single piece of modern technology relies on rare earths, but not in the way you might think. Take your smartphone. It contains nearly every rare earth element. The screen uses europium and terbium for bright colors. The speakers need neodymium for powerful magnets. And the vibration motor requires dysprosium. But consumer electronics are just the beginning. The real strategic importance lies in military applications. An F-35 Lightning II fighter jet contains over 920 pounds of rare earth materials. The Patriot missile defense system uses samarium cobalt magnets that can withstand extreme temperatures. Night vision goggles depend on rare earth phosphors to turn darkness into daylight. Radar systems use rare earth magnets that are 10 times stronger than conventional magnets. Rare earth elements are used in communications equipment, precision-guided weapons, night vision goggles, and stealth technology. Without these elements, modern warfare as we know it would be impossible. More than 78% of the US military's weapons rely on Chinese materials. Green technology tells the same story. Wind turbines need massive neodymium magnets, up to 1,300 pounds per turbine. Electric car batteries use lanthanum and cerium. Solar panels require europium and terbium. The entire green energy revolution depends on these 17 elements, and China controls almost all of them. The true power of China's rare earth monopoly was revealed not in a boardroom, but in a moment of international crisis. In 2010, a Chinese fishing trawler collided with Japanese Coast Guard vessels near disputed islands. Japan arrested the Chinese captain, and China's response was swift and devastating. They completely cut off rare earth exports to Japan. Within weeks, Japanese factories ground to a halt. Toyota couldn't make hybrid cars. Sony couldn't produce electronics. The economic impact was so severe that Japan quickly released the captain and issued a diplomatic apology. China had just demonstrated that rare earths weren't just commodities, they were weapons. This wasn't an isolated incident. China has imposed export restrictions on 7 rare earth elements and magnets in retaliation for new US tariffs. The message was clear: challenge China's interests, and your entire technological civilization could be held hostage. The weaponization became even more explicit recently. China recently announced a ban of rare earth extraction and separation technologies, preventing other countries from even learning how to process these materials. It's not enough for China to control the global response and current battlefield. The world has finally woken up to this threat, but the response reveals just how deep the dependency runs. The United States is particularly vulnerable for these supply chains, with America being almost entirely dependent on China for processed rare earths. Countries are scrambling to break free. Australia's Lynas Corporation has emerged as the only significant non-Chinese producer of processed rare earths. Australia's Lynas Rare Earths produced heavy rare earth elements at a commercial scale in Malaysia, marking a crucial breakthrough. The United States is desperately trying to rebuild its domestic capacity, with the Pentagon investing billions in developing domestic supply chains to ensure continued access to the rare earth materials needed to manufacture permanent magnets. But here's the sobering reality. Even with these efforts, while China controlled up to 95% of global mine production in 2010, as of 2024, Australia, 5%, and the US, 12%, have accelerated mine production. China still dominates with over 70% of mining and an even higher percentage of processing. The challenge isn't just geological, it's technological and economic. Building a rare earth processing facility takes 7 to 15 years and costs billions of dollars. Meanwhile, China has spent decades perfecting their techniques and can still undercut any competitor on price. China has an effective monopoly over processing major heavy rare earths, dysprosium and terbium, and light rare earths, neodymium and praseodymium. The rare earth crisis reveals a fundamental shift in how nations project power in the 21st century. Control over critical materials has become more important than control over territory. China understood this decades ago and positioned itself as the indispensable S of the elements that make modern life possible. This isn't just about economics, it's about survival. Every advanced military system, every piece of green technology, every smartphone and computer depends on these 17 elements. As tensions between superpowers escalate, rare earths have become the ultimate strategic weapon, invisible, essential, and controlled by one nation. The question isn't whether countries can break free from China's rare earth monopoly. The question is whether they can do it fast enough before these silent war commodities determine the winner of the next global conflict. The race is on, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The age of oil wars is ending. The age of rare earth wars has begun. If this opened your eyes to the hidden forces shaping our world, wait until you see what's coming next. The next video reveals the 3 technologies that could make rare earths obsolete, or start World War III.